Pulse at 97.7.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments, oh dear.
Could be one of the finest songs written in musical theater in the last 10, 20 years is that one. And it is part of Rent, which is opening this weekend at the Muni. The Muni's doing something different this year and extending their season into September, and could not be more beautiful weather for it. Both Jeremy and Scott are here, who are part of the cast of Rent. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is, and I think this particular show is such a special show, and great to have it at the Muni. How has it been? How's it been received in the community?
So far, everybody I've talked to has been incredibly positive
Yeah.
and excited. And I come from the rock band world, so everybody I'm talking to doesn't expect theater talk to come out of me. And they're just like, wow. So I think we're going to have a lot of new people out of the Muni this year for this. I hope. They've told me there's going to be a lot.
And Jeremy, you can probably speak to that too. It is kind of an interesting mixture of both theater and just solid rock music, which is not what we normally expect. If you're going to think you're going to see Rodgers and Hammerstein, that's not what this is.
No, it's definitely not. I've always said, kind of, if you think you don't like musicals, come see Rent, and then you'll probably start liking them. When I was really young, Rent's the first musical I remember seeing. And it just blew me away with how much energy it has, how much you love all the characters, and most of all, how good all the music is. Yeah. Like, Larson did not write one bad song in this entire show, and just song after song after song, they're all just amazing songs to listen to, and you'll be humming them when you leave. And that's really what makes Rent such a great show. Aside from its message, is just that you're right. Like, this is rock music that is more accessible to the people who might think that they're coming to get the Oklahoma South Pacific treatment.
So Rent was your first musical that you remember see. What an incredible baptism into musical theater.
I'm telling you, that's kind of when I got the bug. I remember it was at the Fox Theater, and when they hit that title song of Rent and those electric guitar riffs come in, I remember I blew back in my seat and I was just like, whoa, you can use guitars. But it's just like, it just hits you like that so fast, and then it just doesn't let you go, and the characters just resonate with you, and you just feel everything they feel. And
it's unorthodox in its style like that, which I think is one of the things that has made it stand out. And I do want to talk a little bit about Larson's story, because what an incredible tale that is, of this guy who worked like holy hell to be a success on Broadway. And then passes away within weeks of it opening. Do I have that right?
Yeah, he died a week before it opened on Broadway.
Yeah.
They were still in their previews. Had a disease called Marfan syndrome, which pretty much they didn't know a lot about it at the time. And it turns out he had a lot of the markers, but they just didn't know to look for
No kidding.
him. And so he just went home one night after rehearsal, was making tea in his kitchen, and he dropped dead.
And never saw the success that is the show.
And never got to see it on Broadway. And the next night, the cast gathered, and they decided they still wanted to keep the previews going. But they only wanted Larson's family and friends there. And obviously the music was a lot more emotional that night. But I think you're right. I think Rent is such a phenomenon because of his story, because he is tied into it, and it is his legacy in a way. I mean, he wrote Rent on his first try. He got, like, his very first musical he tried. Well, technically second, but his first major musical, he wrote one of the only 8 musicals to ever win the Pulitzer Prize for drama, and it's just so sad. What could he have done? And so his legacy's built into it, and each production needs to rise to that level. What Larson gave to it. Yeah,
absolutely, and just the almost dark irony of what the content of the show is, and then what ended up happening. But Scott, tell us, if people aren't familiar with Rent, what is this story?
It's a story of a group of friends in New York City. You've got Roger, a wannabe rock star who had his moment in the sun. His roommate Jeremy. Or his roommate Mark,
played by Jeremy,
filmmaker. They have, Well, they've had their former roommate Benny is trying to kick them out of their apartment.
What a friend.
Roger is trying his hardest not to fall in love with the girl downstairs. You've got Maureen and Joanne, on again, off again, on again, off again.
Maureen's Mark's ex-girlfriend who leaves him for a woman, so that's fun.
And really, just the it's all about the relationships and how everything circles around love and Rent. That's really all it is.
And it's the trials and tribulations that so many people go through in their lives, and particularly in their young lives, and woven in, just the stories of just trying to get by, but loves and relationships and homosexuality and trying to deal with that, and I mean just a lot of things going on in there. But it's what makes this such a powerhouse of a show.
Oh yeah, and obviously HIV/AIDS plays a big part of it. A lot of the characters have the disease because when Larson wrote the musical, AIDS was first really starting to, I don't know what to call it, but it was starting to spread a lot, especially in New York, and so little was known about it. At the time, there was a lot of misinformation that was being put out there, and a lot of his friends were the ones contracting this disease. And so in writings, he said that one of his main motivations for writing Rent was to get the truth out there about what these people go through, what it's like. And it doesn't even have to be AIDS, but that's still prevalent here with, any kind of disease, with cancer or something like that. People deal with it. And the message of the show, of course, is the slogan, No Day But Today, which means don't let this stuff keep you from living. You might have limited time, but you better live it for all it's worth because, love is still here and it's worth it. And there really is no day but today, and that's a message that everyone can grab hold of. Everybody wants to live their life to the fullest, and that's what makes Rent such a powerful show that gets to your core, I think. Yeah,
and just a spectacular cast of singers, and not only bringing in people from the theater community, but bringing people in just from the music community who have who've contributed to this. And a couple of things to know about Rent is different start time than a usual Muni production.
Yeah, we're kicking off at 7:30.
7:30, okay.
Now. So 7:30 curtain time.
Which is perfect, being September and cooler evenings and the sun going down sooner. That's a perfect time to get that show started.
And the lighting's working out great.
Good.
Getting dark just right at the right time when Dan kicks off the good stuff.
I'm telling you, we had our rehearsal. Our rehearsal last night was the first night where really got pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And quite literally, we usually have that giant fan out to me that everybody sits in front of when they're not on stage, and nobody was there last night. So it's just the weather's just so great. But make sure you get there at 7:30. We advise this show, because of the following Rent has, we're probably expecting some big crowds, so you probably want to get there early. You can do general admission. The reserve seats are $14 with $12 price for students and seniors and children and the military. The Rent is the Muni. Rent at the Muni. It's just such a great place to, if you want to sit on the lawn. It's totally the same, I think, as sitting in the chairs. Just put down a blanket, bring a picnic, and just enjoy a really great show.
Yeah.
Try and get there early.
Get there early and enjoy what the Muni has to offer. And kind of like with the Muni's first show, this show is going to run for 3 weekends.
Yes. We go the 6th and 7th this Friday and Saturday, and then the next 2 weekends we go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is the 12th, 13th, and 14th, and then the 19th through the 21st.
Great.
No Sunday shows. So
it is Rent. It's at the Muni, and you can go to themuni.org to get tickets or give them a call ahead of time and enjoy this what's going to be a spectacular production. Looking forward to it, guys.
We are.
Thanks for stopping by and visiting with us.
Thank you.